I think this is the best pure planar Chi-Fi earphones that I've heard to date, September 3rd, 2022. And because it's Chi-Fi, of course, I have no idea who this company is. It's like the Raptico Hook X. No idea. This is, I think, a company called TANGZU, and the set's name is Ze Tian. Pretty sure I got that. Now, this is the first planar that's come out that's tuned like a dynamic driver. Don't make me get crayons and start drawing pictures. I said tuned like a dynamic driver. Let's go ahead and take a look at a graph right here. I have the TANGZU ZE TIAN laid over a graph of the Shure Z12, which is the S12 slightly modified with a little bit more sub bass. This set has more sub bass than that and less sub bass than the Z12. The bass on this set is amazing. It's easily the best low frequency that I've heard on any planar. It's very, very impressive. The mids are nice. The gain is DD-like. It's not a DD, it's DD-like. It doesn't have the emphasis and the rough edges that seem to go along with a lot of planars. So it's tuned quite nice. It comes with a cable that I'm not using because it's a 4.4 termination. I don't use 4.4 because I'm going at ADI 2 DAC to do my listening. It comes with tips. One of the tips, interestingly, is the same tips that I use to evaluate with. Those look exactly like and are essentially the CP100s by SpinFits, which I have right here. So I don't need to take those out. But if you ever wondered what tips I use, it's pretty much the tips that are right here. So you get a 4.4 cable that's decent. You get a very interesting pimp type case. It's kind of blingy. But it's got lots of space and it'll treat these nice. I could actually put some much more expensive stuff in it. I like the case, it's very good. It's quite a large box. I don't know if we need to use that much packaging, save the planet and all that stuff. But let's keep talking about the earphones. Let me go to a spider graph and then I'll talk about the music real quick. Because some people are going to not like this, but that's kind of why I want to do this. Okay. Now, the blue is the TANGZU. We got the green, it's Dioko because it's very current and a lot of people got it and it's affordable. The S12, a lot of people think it's got among the best bass. There's a couple variants of it. Hook X is my personal favorite up until now. Starting with the bass, I think the TANGZU is just a step above everything in the way that it's tuned. It sounds clean. The replay of a track that I'm going to mention is very, very impressive. I think that the mids, I think the Dioko's weakness is its mid bass is a little bit too cut for me, is typical for his tuning. But it's dry and it's clean, and that's not the issue. It's more sometimes in the treble and in the mid bass, but I think the mids are very clean on that set. I think that the treble is the TANGZU and also could be the Hook X because of the open back. I think resolution, because of the tuning overall and the way that the bass is sub bass dominant and it doesn't get into the mids really at all, and it's got an ear gain that's about as good as any of the sets that have come out. I think the resolution, perceived, finger slides, pedal pushes, things like that all sound as good as any of the other sets, if not better. I definitely think the bass and the treble is better on this set. I think the stage is very close on all of these sets. It's unique in a planar kind of a way, though I think that the way that this delivers it is probably the best. I think the tonality overall, Hook X, TANGZU are quite close, and I think value is still the Dioko because it's, I think, $99 or a little bit less. So I'll go ahead and move away from that, and I'll overlay that one this time. Now I want to talk about three particular tracks. The first one, you probably are not a fan of, or you might be. I don't want to make assumptions. This is an album called Tupacalypse Now. And there's a track on it called Violent. And if you listen to it, you just need to listen to the first 20 seconds because it's the beat, it's a drone beat. It's very much like a Massive Attack type of track. Low frequency, heavy drone. If the driver's not really good, you're going to pick it up quick. And if it is really good, you're also going to pick it up quick because it's going to do its own thing, but it's not going to interfere with all of the other things that are going on. I thought that the way that this sounds is better than any planar that I've heard to date, and that includes the Hook X. This is so clean in its replay. It's amazing. So in the future, when people are talking about bass quality of the set, ask them as a side if they could just kind of check this out and then compare it with whatever set that they think's the best, because I'd also be interested to know what planar out there does that track better. The next one I'm going to talk about is Vivaldi. I did a video recently for a set by KZ, and that didn't go over well. But it's because it was I won't get into that. I don't think it sounds really good. When I got to something like Vivaldi, it just was not something that I would listen to. This set, on the other hand, because it does have the elevated bass that's in the sub bass and would apply to things like oboes, and there's a lot of stringed instruments and otherwise that have low frequency, but it doesn't get in the way of everything else. Violin tones, the harmonics of violin sound very, very nice on this set. So if you listen to classical music, I think that this would be better than the original 7 Hertz, because the 7 Hertz has a sharp edge, hard to describe. You know it if you hear me, you do, and if you don't, then don't worry about it. That's got a kind of weird sharpness to it, the way that it presents itself. This does that a little bit better, and I think that bodes better for classical music. Ask about this track. And then one more is Sweet Leaf. And this is a track that you got to be specific for, or specific with. Did I miss it? Of course I did. Let me get back for a second. Now, you'll want to get up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds to a track called Sweet Leaf. This is a drummer and a bassist that are going on at the same time, and it's something that the Tin Hi-Fi P1 tuned me into being what Planars can do. I already knew that with headphones, but with IEMs, I hadn't heard it yet. I'm an Android user, and even the Odyssey without the cipher cable were really, really bad. This set's ability to separate the bassist and the drummer, or if you want to focus on the drummer and it's not being masked or overwhelmed by the bassist, or vice versa. Also, Ozzy Osbourne, when he comes in, he doesn't have that like red flag that maybe there's going to be some trouble in the gain region or in the upper mids because of how intense Ozzy Osbourne sounds. None of that happens with this set. So the low frequency is fast and natural. It doesn't get in the way. There's no seeming sense of masking between two low frequency instruments. When Ozzy does come into the track, he doesn't sound like a red flag, like nasally, kind of loud, rough, and an indicator that other things that are like vocalists on chairs like Neil Young, Jim Croce, or any vocalist, Chris Cornell, there might be some issues with that when it comes up, whether he's solo or with Soundgarden. It doesn't happen with this set. Now I'm going to stop. So that's 3 tracks: Violent by Tupac, Vivaldi, and also Sweet Leaf. And I'm going to put this down for a second. The fascinating point about this is all kind of typical chi-fi in my experience. Companies come in that you've never heard of, and you find yourself having to say to people, I don't know this company, I know you don't either, but this is really awesome. And it happens again. This is how random the hobby is. When people think that there's a lot of stuff going on in the background and control, there apparently isn't, because other companies that have been trying to play with the Planars for several months now, I'm sure Moondrop is going to do well, but I have no idea who this company is. I think that they are overpricing this a little bit, but I think they think they're getting it back because it's got a nice case and it's got a 4.4 cable. Now I'm going to talk to the company. If you could pare this packaging down and just put it with a regular 3.5 cable and then offer another version of this and price it around, let's say $150, because I think it's easy. Whatever is the best, you think it's the S12 or you think it's the 7 Hertz, price yourself right there, drop it just a little bit, and you're going to win because you're competitive in the price, and also your tuning is better than everybody else's. And with my library, whether it's a Tupac track, Vivaldi track, or an old 70s Black Sabbath, it sounds better than all the other sets. The only reason that somebody would hesitate to buy is because they don't know who you are, and you're priced at, I think, like $199. Let me check what the price is. Oh, holy crap, my bad. It's $150. I'm sorry, take it back. That's competitive. Oh, I did the Spidergraph already with value. I'm sorry, this is me not paying attention. I just wanted to see the size of the drive, which is 14.5. It's $150. Okay. Well, hell. I wrecked this completely, and I think it's the best Planar that you can buy right now. I really do. This is moving along quickly, but since 7 Hertz came out, the combo driver of the Raptgo with the piezo plus the Planar, that's a hybrid, I don't think anything has come along as clearly on next level as this set, with a picture of a princess from a company I've never heard of, thinking it was $200 and it's $150. Excuse me while I remember I should read. And I'm out. reading for the fail. $150.